Chris Webb, welcome to my happy place.
Thank you for having me
Very
on.
nice for you to join me. And would you describe yourself as a happy person, Chris?
The short answer would be yes.
There's no wrong answer. You're welcome to say no. I'm a complete misery. But...
No, I'm not a complete misery. I think that I've had chapters of my life where I've been very happy, and I've had chapters in my life where I've been quite sad. Unfortunately, I think generally speaking, the answer is yes. I think I'm generally glass half full. Probably 80-20 is probably the right. And so, depends what chapter of my life I'm up to. At the moment, yes, very happy. Life is good. Things are okay. Thank you very much. Other times have been not so great, which I'm sure we'll cover. But yeah, generally speaking, I would say I'm glass half full.
I'd certainly say that from the outside looking in, you seem to be an upbeat, positive, cheerful chap. But I don't know if that's carefully curated or I mean, that is obviously a lot of people who are listening to this probably know you mostly through your social media, and that's very much the intention of social media, is it not? To show us at our best, to give that curated view.
I think yes and no, and I think something that I have struggled with historically, and I probably still struggle with, not as much but slightly today, is that I have I think potentially we all have it, is like a weight to kind of portray this everything's amazing, everything's great, smiley, happy, airbrush picture, whatever else it might be. And I've tried and trying to kind of not step away from that, but kind of just be sort of realer, if that's even a word, with people and say like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. Yes, some things are great, some things are terrible. But I think if you look at anyone,
the in word is authenticity. I think.
Yeah, authenticity. That's a better way of putting it. You clearly went to university. So yeah, being more authentically who I am, and that is being open with people and saying, look, sometimes it's good stuff, sometimes it's terrible stuff. I think the get out of jail free card for me these days is, this might sound quite flippant, is that I don't really care about much, if that makes sense. Like the small stuff that happens, like I couldn't really give a monkey's. Like some things are good, some things are bad. I'll generally just kind of like wash over it quite quickly. I don't let things affect me too much these days, and I'm very sort of matter of fact about it. So, but that has taken time.
What's the kind of small stuff that you no longer care about that one day might have buried itself beneath your skin?
I mean, let's stay on the social media side of things. If I went through social media and thought, oh my god, they're doing really well, or they've done that, that's really cool, sort of thing, I'd be like, oh god, them doing better would make me feel like I'm doing worse, if that makes sense. Whereas now I'm like, actually, them doing better has no regard on me in any way, shape or form. Them doing better is well done them, and me doing better is well done me. And if they do terribly and I do terribly, like it's not a zero-sum game. We can both do well and we're all okay, sort of thing. So whereas historically I would see like, them taking a step forward as me taking a step back, but now I kind of think, okay, we can all take a step forward and that's okay.
It's one of the hardest things, isn't it? Having genuine positive feelings towards other people's success, especially when you're not flying as high yourself as you'd necessarily like to. It's almost a skill, isn't it? Appreciating others when you yourself perhaps don't have everything that you desire.
I think for me, I'm a competitive guy. Like I like winning. Like you saw me do it for Dom. Like I want to win. Like
do it for Dom. You literally launched yourself over an inflatable bouncy castle with the skill and aptitude of an Olympic athlete, and I was mesmerized.
I'm keen on winning. Like I'm a competitive guy. So for me to say to other people like, no, I want you to do well, I want you to succeed, sort of thing. It doesn't come particularly naturally to myself. And that's just me being really honest. And being in an estate agency career historically, I know these days it's a bit more sort of, let's all hold hands and make the industry better. But go back 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was like, they're awful, we're beating them. They're rubbish, they're nothing compared to us. You need to go out and you need to beat them, sort of thing. It was that very much sort of dog-eat-dog mentality. So that's sort of ingrained in me from 20 years ago. And it's probably taken me 5 years to kind of ditch that slightly. I would say it's a work in progress, but it's being ditched.
Well, we've gone quite deep early doors, which wasn't my intention. Spot the podcast host coming on as a guest. Runaway train of a conversation in the first 5 minutes.
Well, I actually have to do some work when it's not my podcast. I actually have to do some work on my podcast. I just ask some questions and then sit back and listen, sort of thing. On your podcast, I actually have to do some talking.
Rein it in, Chris. We've got time to fill here. Okay, but although I can't believe this is possible, should there be anyone watching or listening who is not quite so familiar with you, I want them to get a brief flavour of you. So I'm going to ask you to give me what I'm going to call quick fire joy. And I'm just going to throw 3 things at you. I want you to tell me what makes you happy in relation to these things. So what's your happy song, Chris?
Bit of a sad one. It's a song by Bon Jovi called "Someday It'll Be Saturday Night." And
just because it's a banger, or because it takes you to a specific place?
It takes me when I've been in a sad place historically, it's always been my song that I'm like, right, if I feel like cheering myself up, I will listen to that song. And as the title might give away, it's about it might feel like a Monday today, ironically recording this on a Monday, but someday it'll be Saturday night. So therefore it maybe a bit crap today, but in the future it'll be all right. We'll move on from this, and someday it'll be Saturday night. So it's a good one to belt out while you're driving around as well. Just not with your windows open. No one needs that. But outside of that, it's very good.
Oh yeah, it's a good sentiment. Tomorrow always comes, regardless of what happens today.
Exactly.
All right. What's your happy smell?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
we're going with the smell.
Every sense has a happy association. What do you get a whiff of, and that takes you to a happy place?
Anything fruity. That sounds a bit weird to say. Anything fruity. Anything.
Not in the carry-on sense.
Not in the carry-on sense. No. I'm a big fan of like ice creams and sweet treats and stuff like that sort of stuff. Not that I actually ever allow myself to have any, but hypothetically, so all those sort of smells, I love to death.
It's the anticipation of a sweet treat.
It is absolutely.
Without the fulfillment.
Yeah, quite. Just teasing myself, basically.
All right, last one. I like this one. What is your happy waste of time? Something that you love to do that's completely unproductive, but at the end of it, it makes you feel wonderful.
I'm going to make myself sound so boring. My pet hate.
Nothing wrong with that.
My pet hate is feeling like I'm wasting time. And my pet hate is feeling like I'm wasting.
That's why I asked you this one, because I thought Chris Webb never wastes time. So surely there must be something.
I don't know. It's kind of like people might say, oh, I love sitting down in the evening and like watching a film and just like binging a film. Like I enjoy watching a film, but after that I'm like, right, I need to do something, because I think to myself, like it's like staying in bed till midday. Although that sounds great, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll be waking up and I need to do something. I need to go to the gym or go for a walk or listen to a podcast or something. I'm very much a sort of go sort of person. So wasting time doesn't necessarily go hand in hand. But
are you at peace with that, or because we've established that you're competitive and you like to be productive, but is there a voice in your head that tells you that you should switch off sometimes, you should waste your time, or are you quite happy to be that kind of Duracell bunny guy?
I'm quite happy to be it. My partner might disagree with that, but I'm quite happy to be sort of go all the time. And yeah, it's something that I will have to work on in years to come. So at some point I'll be old and tired and whatever else it may be, and I'll probably need to tone it down a bit. But while I'm still relatively youngish at 39, I will still try and do as much as I can possibly fit into every single day.
Had to drop it in there. You're still the wrong side of the 40 fence from my perspective.
I've got the wrinkles, mate. You haven't got the wrinkles. I've got the crow's feet. Like
I've got a filter on. Don't worry about it.
Damn it! I should have told me.
All right. So we got a little flavour of what brings you joy. Although I think we established that basically you don't like to waste time. There was no answer to that, but I'll let it slide.
I will. Okay. So this shows me this. Okay. So I wasted some time.
I love how hard you are finding this.
I'm reluctant to. So this is how I waste time. So I like to waste time occasionally with sort of like, I wouldn't say new ideas, but like, okay. So I thought the other day I watched a video on YouTube and it was about how to improve Facebook ads. So we run Facebook ads as a business, and it's fairly sort of averagey sort of stuff sort of thing. And one of my goals is to learn Facebook ads. I think I should know how to do it sort of thing. And I was like, well, how do I make the image sort of thing? And we've got pictures of the book and stuff we give away sort of thing. And so I dropped the book into ChatGPT and was like, make this the most epic advert ever. And it was like, now make it more epic. Now make it more epic. Now make it the most amazing, and it was like, went on. It probably took me about an hour and a half to do. And by the end of it, it's got like lightning bolts. It's got and at the end of it, I was like, well, I'm not using this. But it was fun while it lasted.
I did that the other day. Someone sent me a message saying, I love working outside, but it drives me mad that I can't see my laptop screen when the sun's on it. So I went to ChatGPT to mock up this image, and I said, make an image of someone using their laptop outside in the sun with a giant baseball cap, so that the peak covers the screen of the laptop. And it gave me a moderate image, and I said, make the cap bigger. And then half an hour later, I'm still going, make the cap bigger.
The biggest.
Yeah. ChatGPT is a wonderful waste of time. So I think that's a great answer.
Yeah, that loading image screen that takes about 20-30 seconds to come through, you're like, that might be 20-30 hours. Like it comes through.
But we sit and we watch it, don't we?
100%. 100%.
There you go. Thank you for that. I love that. If anyone wants to break Chris Webb, ask him how he wastes his time. He can't answer. All right. So the main focus of this podcast is about happiness and about what that is really, and how we achieve it. So just trifling minor questions. So my question to you, what is happiness to you? What does happiness look like?
I think for me, it's about doing in a single day or period of time the things that bring me the most joy. And so, for example, you might find joy from going to the gym first thing in the morning, make you feel kind of like you've woken up and you've kind of done, some good exercise and you feel fitter first thing in the morning. Great. Well, that's kind of part of your sort of good day toolkit, for example. You might think, actually, my best days I have when I get to pick the kids up from school at 3:15 and they meet me at the playground and we have a hug and they, oh, Daddy, I love you and whatever. And that makes the most amazing part of my day. Well, for me, happiness is kind of bolting as many of those things together as you possibly can do into either a day, a week, a month, whatever it may be. Now, it doesn't mean there isn't going to be sort of crap that goes around it, because it's life. Merry Christmas, the water bill turns up and phone bills and whatever else it might be. But as much as possible, doing what makes you happy as an individual for long periods of time will push you in that right direction.
And I suppose in order to be pushed in that direction, you had to at some point define, like you said, it's doing as many things in a single day that bring you joy as possible, which I think is a great answer. But you've got to know what brings you joy. So at some point, you've got to try and define those things. Mm-hmm. And not everybody knows that, do they? So how did you find out what brought you joy?
Oh, that's a deep question. This could be a 3-hour podcast now. I've had, as I mentioned, alluded to earlier, I've had happy stages of my life and sad stages of my life. And I think when I was in one of my sad stages, I thought to myself, actually, what just makes me happy? And what do I enjoy doing? And what's important to me and what's really not important to me? And the things that my list effectively was, I enjoy traveling, I enjoy helping people, and I enjoy meeting people. Those are my big three. So if I'm doing anything which involves those sort of big three parts of it, then I'm pretty much happy, I would say. So I have a bit of an ongoing joke with my partner. And I say, look, if I've got a suntan and my hair's going quite blonde, then I'm generally quite happy. That's generally because I know I'm doing the traveling bit of it quite well, sort of thing. Either that or having some sort of heat wave in the UK sort of thing. And very lucky that through my work, I get to meet lots of people, and generally my job is just to help them. So that's kind of ticking quite a few boxes in one go. So as many of those boxes I can tick in one sort of session, the better.
Yeah, of course, work takes up such a colossal proportion of our lives that there has to be a correlation between work and happiness. I think that some people obviously go to work just for the paycheck and then go home, and their own personal lives is what brings them happiness. But surely we have to look at work, and that's something that I'm really interested in. And so I'd like to throw a happy fact at you. Well, actually, this isn't a very happy fact. In a UK workplace study that was carried out last year, only about 55% of workers reported high well-being at work, meaning that nearly half of employees are in a moderate or low state of workplace well-being, indicating substantial room for improvement in typical UK workplace environments. Now, I thought I'd throw that one at you, because you obviously see a lot of UK estate agency workplace environment, and obviously no comment on the people who you work with. But does that ring true to you in your experience of estate agency? Do you think it's true that the UK estate agency workforce, could you believe that only 55% of estate agents perhaps would be very happy at work?
I think I'm going to make some sweeping statements here, if that's okay. There's a lot of estate agents. I'm sure some of them are really happy. I'm sure some of them are really sad. And there's probably a lot between the two, sort of thing. I think it depends on where you are in your life and what you find important. Because I've got friends of mine who earn £300,000 per year, and they'll work for big companies. They'll work all hours of every single day. They'll work Saturdays. They'll work Sundays. They're sad as anything. And they'll literally be like, I'm here for the paycheck. Yes, it's crap, but I'm getting paid this amount of money. In 3 years' time, I'll quit and I'll go do something else. And they're like, again, that's fine. And I think there's other people who are sort of brand new to the industry and maybe slightly open to it, and it's like, young, youthful and optimistic about, oh, I've got a new job and it's really exciting, get to see houses, get to meet people and all this sort of stuff. And therefore they probably get paid quite lowly, but they're quite happy in the grand scheme of things. They've kind of got it all ahead of them, sort of thing. So I think it depends on the environment you're in. I'd say, generally speaking, I would see that the people like to feel rewarded for what they do and for the time and the effort they do. Everyone likes a good kind of pat on the back, whether that's financially or career or whatever it may be. I think generally estate agents in the UK are underpaid. In fact, they are underpaid, full stop. If you look at the minimum wage these days compared to most estate agents, it's pretty much one and the same, which isn't great. And I think our estate agents generally happy in their roles. Yes, in their roles with regard to actually what they do, but I think with regard to some of the stuff they have to deal with, I think they shouldn't have to deal with. And I think that because you're between two people, you're seen as the punch bag sometimes, and you don't deserve to be the punch bag.
Yeah. So how do we find happiness in our day-to-day work? I mean, you mentioned it earlier, you've got your checklist, but perhaps for people who aren't in a position perhaps to if they've got travel on their checklist, then that's something they do in their holidays. How do you find daily happiness in your work? How do you love what you do enough for it to make you happy?
I think for you to get to that stage, you need to get to a breaking point, for a bit of a harsh way of putting it. But if you're, let's use a terrible metaphor here. Let's say we put a frog in some lukewarm water. It will probably sit there quite happily. Is it like happy? Is it sad? No, but it's just sat in this lukewarm water, living its life, sort of thing. If you turn the gas up on that, eventually that frog's gonna be like, I'm out of here. I've had enough, sort of thing, and I'll see you later. Unless it's in France, obviously, where we'll cook it. So there has to be a certain amount of pain in place there for people to take action. And so I think if people are sat there going, yeah, work's all right, yeah, pay's all right, yeah, my boss is all right, yeah, he's a bit of a dick sometimes, but yeah, sometimes he's all right, sort of thing, that doesn't necessarily give you enough sort of momentum to move. Or if you're like, actually, I'm paid rubbish, I hate my work, I hate the commute, I hate the people, then you'll do something about it. So there needs to be a certain amount of pain in your life or discomfort in your life for you to go, actually, I want to do something about it. But that's that's not only on a sort of a negative point of view, that can be on a positive side of things as well. It might be people just sat there going, I want more, and I think I can earn £100,000, or I think I can work 3 days a week and travel at the weekends and whatever else it may be. But the harsh truth about it is that no one's going to take your hand and do it for you. No one's going to be like, come on then, let's design the life you want for you. Let's make it so you go on holiday every 6 weeks. Let's make it so you earn a lot of money. You've got to make that decision yourself and action the life that you want to have around it, because it's not going to happen by luck.
Do you think there's two types of people? People who jump out of the pot when it starts to get a bit hot, and others who stay in the pot going, gosh, this pot's a bit hot, isn't it? This pot's boiling. But you're right, that pain in your life, that unhappiness can be what spurs you on to make the changes that you need in your life to become happier. But what of the people who stay in the pot? Is our message to them, get out the pot?
I think you need to look at what you want from your life. Now, this isn't for me to decide, for you to decide. It's for them to look at and go, I've got friends who work for the county council, and they'll go, I don't like working for the council. Yeah, I get loads of holiday and my pay goes up by 5% a year, and I get a Christmas shopping day. But they'll stay there for the next 20, 30 years until they're 60, 65 years old, 60 years old. They'll retire, and that's that. Are they particularly fulfilled or challenged by that role? No, they're not, but that's what they want to do, and that's where they are, sort of thing. For other people, they'll look at it and go, actually, I want more for my life, and I want to be challenged and pushed and all these sort of things. And there's no right or wrong there. If you're quite happy working in a easy council job where nothing really too much happens and you're really safe in your job, that's great. If you think, actually, I want to be challenged, I want to be pushed, that's equally as great as well. It's your life, you can do whatever you want with it. But either way, you need to make a choice. And if you don't make, I think the big thing that is that not making a decision is still making a decision. If you don't make a choice on something, your choice is being made for you. So
you mentioned a few minutes ago about maybe some people they've got that ambition to go off and earn 100 grand, to be really successful, to earn lots of money. This is this perennial question: does success lead to happiness? Are the two tied together, do you think?
Well, they say that the happiest salary to earn is, I think it's like 80 grand, 70 grand, in that sort of ballpark. They say that's kind of the sort of sweet spot for sort of, you've got money, not so much money that you're like, oh my God, I've got rich person problems and whatever else it may be, but you've got enough to have like a nice car, nice house, etc. Though I'm sure that figure is probably rapidly going up with inflation. It's probably 100 grand already, I'd imagine. So there is that point on there to say that, you know, can money buy happiness? Yes and no.
It helps. Surely it helps.
I
know it's very tempting to say, money's not everything. Money can't buy you happiness. I mean, that's what it says in the song, right? But surely it helps.
It gives you options. It's give you options. And I think for me, I'm not very money orientated in the grand scheme of my life. And this might sound like a dick thing to say, but for me, you know, with the clients I work with, I try and align myself as much as possible with the clients. So they do well, I do well. So for me, my sort of pay, income, whatever you want to call it for the company, is like a scorecard to how well I'm helping my clients I work with. Because if they do really well, then I get paid a bit more. If they don't do so well, I don't do so well. So for me, it's almost like a scorecard. But actually, for me, the fun bit is helping them grow their business. The money's kind of like a secondary thing off the back of it. So, you know, I've had months where I've had, you know, this is before kind of started my own business, etc. I've had amazing months before, and I've earned like multiple figures, and you think, oh my God, that's an amazing figure sort of thing. But 30 seconds later, you're like, well, that pay slip's out of sight now. But you have other months where you're like, you know, I remember my first pay slip and it was £800. And I remember looking at my boss, and then looking back at it, and he was like, everything all right? And I'm like, yeah. And I was working like six days a week from like, you know, 8 in the morning to like 8 at night. And I was like, 800 quid. I was like, that is not a lot of money for how much I'd have been. You know, the risk versus reward was off in that situation for me. So, can money make you happy? Yes and no. Generally, the answer is no to it. It can help and open doors to you. It isn't the be all and end all. I think you've got to have a lot more sort of to you, around you, sort of foundation to you, to make it sort of valuable to you. You know, if you have all the money in the world, but if you come home to a partner who literally hates you and thinks you're an idiot and whatever else, you're like, well, what's the point? Like, what I'd rather have a partner who loves me massively and, you know, welcomes me when I walk home from work, sort of thing, and get paid quarter of the amount, tenth of the amount, whatever it may be, because that's far more valuable in that situation. So, you know, does money help? Yes, it does, but it isn't the be all and end all.
Yeah. So you've alluded yourself to the fact there's been times in your life where you've been down. Thankfully now you're more up than down, but everybody, obviously, the majority of people has those wobbles throughout their life, those challenges. So given that you're someone who's kind of gone through that, and it sounds like you're quite proactive in terms of now sort of taking your experiences and learning from them and acting on those learnings. Do you have any habits or routines now that help you to preserve happiness in your life? Do you do anything proactively to stave off the bad days, those low moods?
Well, I think that for me, I like being active, and I think the idea of sort of sitting in front of a computer all day and just typey and video call is kind of a bit mind numbing. So for me, you know, I usually will do something in the morning, whether that's a walk or some exercise, and then in the work, I'll definitely do some, you know, proper exercise, like at the gym or whatever it may be, sort of thing. So for me, there needs to be some sort of activity every single day, sort of.
And we do have a massive desk culture in the UK, don't we? I'm sure the majority of people who listen to this, both of them, I'm sure that they will go into work, sit at their desks, not move for the entire day. I did it. I grazed all day at my desk. I didn't even go out for lunch or anything like that.
Yeah, so I would 100% make sure you make some time to sort of move and kind of go out and about. Even when I had an employed sort of corporate job, I'd make sure I'd had half an hour for lunch or so, and I could just go for a walk around the block. Literally, I go, right, I'll go down this road today, right, I'll go down this street today, half an hour around the block, put a podcast on, spend just 30 minutes, half an hour to yourself, kind of thing. You can just kind of switch and turn off. I think in the UK, we're made to feel guilty about taking a lunch break and be like, oh my God, you're taking a lunch break, you're part-time. It's like, no. It's literally in my contract that I've got a lunch break. So I'm going to have a little bit of time for myself and actually recuperate, have a little bit of rest, so I can actually recharge for this afternoon and actually be better this afternoon than you, because I've actually had some time away from the business. So,
and when you do that, Chris, are you earphones in? Are you listening to music? Are you listening to a podcast? Or are you just sort of listening to nature? What do you do when you take yourself off for those walks? Or
I will generally listen to a podcast. So for me, a podcast or an audiobook, to show you how boring I am, I generally listen to an audiobook from Monday to Thursday. And on Friday, I'll allow myself the novelty of listening to a podcast because that's a bit more lighthearted. So flash into the boring life of Chris Webb. So I think
I love that you have that structured, because if it's not structured, it's left to chance, right?
100%. And so I think for me, biggest thing is making sure you spend time for yourself, and you are the most important thing in your business. For yourself, Toby, you are Toby Martin from Toby Martin Consultancy. If you died to death tomorrow, funny enough, your business wouldn't do too well after that, because you are quite a major cog in the business. So let's look after you first of all, kind of point number one. I think the thing that I try and do as much as possible is I try and not overthink things. So for example, I thought it was the other day. So I was on my our Facebook group the other day, and I was inviting people to join it, which a couple of years ago, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a bit cringe, like clicking on people's names and pressing the invite. What if they say yes? What if they say no? And what if they reply back?
What are they going to think of me?
Exactly. And then at that moment, I was like, all I need to think about is my finger going from that box next to their name to that invite button. I was like, that's as big a deal as it is. And, same with this podcast. I could sit before the podcast. I could go, oh God, I've got an interview with Toby. It's going to be like half an hour long. What if I say the wrong thing? What if there's an issue with the sound or the internet? What if I say something that's incorrect, sort of thing? You're kind of putting yourself through the pain twice, because you're worrying about it to start off with and making a big deal out of it, and then you're doing the thing anyway. So as little as possible do I overthink things and think to myself, actually worry about what's coming up. I prepare for it, absolutely be prepared for it, and have all your ducks in line, but you won't find me worrying about things, because I'll be like, there's literally no point. There's no point in me worrying for half an hour and then doing a podcast. I might just do the podcast. It's not going to be any better or worse because I worried about it. So just get on with it.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I'm really grateful to you for all the very sage advice and bits of wisdom you've given us, Chris. I want to wrap up with two questions I'm going to ask to everybody. So first of all, take me, where is your happy place? Literally or metaphorically, where is Chris Webb's happy place?
I think I would say a beach somewhere. Doesn't necessarily, it doesn't matter whether it's a sunny day, rainy day, which is convenient living in the UK. Sitting on the beach somewhere with the water coming down. I don't even like going in the sea, but I just think it's nice to be.
What are you doing? What are you doing there?
I know, literally just chilling. So with myself, my partner, in summer we will finish work at 4:30, flight, drive down to the beach for an hour or so, have a barbecue on the beach, all this sort of stuff. So I'm quite in. If I ever felt stressed or thought to myself, I need a bit of relaxation time, the beach would be the go-to.
Oh, that does it for me. Barbecue on the beach. I'm hearing the waves and the seagulls.
You can visualize it already.
I've got Bon Jovi on the stereo. Fantastic.
Like you're there.
Leave us with a note of encouragement. What would you say to somebody who's listening to this who is struggling to find joy and happiness right now? What would your message be to them?
My message would be, you are a very unique, one of a kind snowflake in the world. You are the most amazing, unique person of you. There is no one else in the world just like you. Apart from the fact there are 8 billion people who are also equally as unique and as amazing as you are in every single way. That means that no one really gives a monkey's what you do day in, day out. You can do pretty much whatever you like. Other people in the world are not thinking about you. They are thinking about yourself. So do not let other people hold you back about what you can do and what you can't do, because ultimately no one cares. Literally no one cares. So you can do whatever you want in the world, whether you want to have your own podcast, your own YouTube series, you want to go and do a stand-up comedy tour, you can try and do whatever you want. You live your life in any way, shape or form. Do not allow other people to hold you back from what you can be and what you want to do because you're worried about what they might think. Because they're not thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves. So go do whatever you want.
Chris, thank you for taking us to your happy place.
Thanks for having me, Toby.